Chosen one, pause for a second. This isn't a coincidence. If you've felt an unexplainable pull lately, a sense that someone unknown is drawing closer to your path, that quiet stirring in your spirit is not imagination. Heaven is moving pieces right now, and this message found you on purpose. Before we go any further, if your spirit feels alert, ready, or even slightly shaken, drop 777 in the comments as a sign you're aligned. Because what I'm about to reveal next is not about walking alone anymore. It's about the moment God brings another chosen one into your journey, and everything begins to shift. God's chosen one, your next mission is to meet another chosen one. Chosen one, let me pause here and speak to you directly. If this message is finding you, it is not by chance. Prophetic words are never released randomly. They arrive when the Spirit is ready. Sometimes simply staying connected or sharing a message like this becomes the very way God uses you to awaken another chosen one to their assignment. I've seen it happen too many times to dismiss it. Chosen ones were never designed for permanent isolation. Your journey has felt lonely, and that loneliness had a purpose. God has always set his chosen apart for seasons of shaping. Moses was hidden in the wilderness long before leading Israel. David was alone with sheep long before the crown ever touched his head. Separation was never rejection, it was refinement. But hear this clearly, isolation was never meant to be your final destination. You were not designed to carry the full weight of your calling alone. The assignment is too heavy, the resistance too real, and the scope too wide for one vessel to sustain forever. Scripture doesn't speak poetically when it says, "Two are better than one." It speaks spiritually. When one stumbles, the other lifts them. That is law, not sentiment. Chosen ones are meant to find one another, not to compete, not to drain each other, but to stand shoulder to shoulder when the pressure intensifies. I learned this personally. I walked seasons alone, strong but exhausted, disciplined but stretched thin. Then God aligned me with someone who carried a similar fire and obedience. The shift was immediate. Alone, there is authority. Together, there is multiplication. The spiritual realm understands this principle well. That's why the enemy works relentlessly to keep chosen ones divided, wounded by betrayal, cautious of connection, suspicious of anything divinely timed. He knows your individual strength threatens him, but unified authority dismantles his plans. Look back at your own path. There were moments the loneliness felt unbearable. You carried a weight others couldn't see, let alone share. That pain wasn't wasted. Isolation builds endurance, but connection releases acceleration. God never allowed those seasons to punish you. He allowed them to prepare you. Even Jesus didn't fulfill his mission alone. He called disciples and intentionally sent them out in pairs. If the Son of God modeled divine partnership, how much more does it apply to you? This is not weakness, it is wisdom. Scripture tells us that when one puts 1,000 to flight, 2 cause 10,000 to flee. That isn't symbolism, it's exponential truth. Alignment multiplies authority. That's why meeting another chosen one is never casual. It is a divine appointment designed to unlock a level of destiny you could never access alone. If something in your spirit is stirring as you hear this, don't ignore it. That resonance is recognition. If isolation still weighs on you, drop 111, not as weakness, but as readiness. I'm not sharing theory, I'm sharing lived experience. There was a long season where waiting felt endless, silence felt heavy, and God's stillness felt unbearable. I asked why everything meaningful required isolation. Over time, I realized God was teaching me to depend on him fully before trusting any human connection. Have you noticed how you now listen inward first? Those silent seasons trained your spiritual hearing. They taught you to recognize God's voice without noise, validation, or applause. That's why when alignment comes, you won't confuse another chosen one as your source. I learned this the hard way. The moment I treated someone as a source, God removed them. Not in cruelty, but protection. God is the source. People are vessels. The chosen one being aligned with you is not coming to fill a void. They are coming to multiply a mission. Elijah stood alone before Elisha appeared. David endured isolation before Jonathan entered his story. These connections didn't replace God. They expanded what God had already built in secret. That explains why your preparation was so intense. Isolation was not passive. It was contested. The enemy attacks hardest in loneliness, whispering that you are the only one walking this path. I nearly believed that lie myself, but it is false. Others like you exist. Disciplined by silence, refined through misunderstanding, walking parallel paths right now. When alignment happens, it won't feel forced. It will feel familiar, like something long awaited, finally falling into place. Think of Ruth stepping into Boaz's field at the exact moment heaven had already decided. Your solitude was not wasted. It built character, discernment, and identity rooted in God alone. Still, the assignment ahead is too vast for one voice, too heavy for one set of shoulders. Why would God stretch your capacity this much if expansion wasn't next? That is why your next mission involves meeting another chosen one. When alignment happens, the authority released won't need explanation. It will be evident. Alignment often arrives quietly, but it changes everything. Now let me take you deeper. Your next mission was written into the architecture of your destiny before you were born. I once thought certain meetings were random. Looking back, I see clearly everything shifted the moment those encounters happened. Have you ever met someone and felt recognition before explanation? When two chosen ones meet under divine orchestration, heaven responds, doors open, resistance increases, authority multiplies. Alone, you carry light. Together, darkness cannot contain it. Scripture shows this repeatedly. Moses had authority, but Aaron carried a voice. David was anointed, but Jonathan recognized it early. Paul was powerful, yet prison doors shook when he worshipped with Silas. Alone, they were strong. Together, history shifted. Your path wasn't wasted. The battles were intense, but the next phase requires collaboration. Some assignments are too complex for one set of gifts. God designed alignment because another chosen one carries what you don't, and you carry what they need. When alignment happens, others notice. Unity becomes a signpost. Lives shift simply by observing it. But hear this clearly. Alignment will be challenged. Counterfeits often appear first. Delays surface. Discernment becomes critical. Timing matters. Stay rooted in prayer. When real alignment arrives, it brings clarity and peace, even if the assignment is weighty. If this resonates, drop 222, not for engagement but agreement. Now hear this as protection. Not everyone appearing in this season is sent by God. The enemy sends counterfeits with timing, charm, and spiritual language. Counterfeits rush. Divine alignment unfolds with peace. Pressure is not confirmation. Watch consistency. Watch fruit. Flattery is not affirmation. True chosen ones sharpen you. They don't just admire you. Ask this: does the connection pull you closer to God or subtly pull you away? Real alignment deepens prayer. Counterfeits drain focus. Familiarity can be a trap. Comfort is not confirmation. God's alignments move you forward, not backward. Test everything. Peace is the greatest filter. Anxiety is warning, not excitement. Counterfeits aim to delay by occupying you, but walk in wisdom, not fear. If you stay grounded, you will recognize what is not from God and remain available for what is. Now we arrive at the conclusion. This is not the end of a message. It is the beginning of a season. You stayed because something recognized this word. God is preparing you to meet another chosen one. This alignment is sacred. Do not rush it. Walk in wisdom. Stay anchored in prayer. Those who align in this season will not only change their lives, their obedience will ripple outward, families, communities, generations. When prepared vessels unite, the spiritual realm responds. Pause and reflect. Do you feel confirmation settling in your spirit? Write 111 if you are ready for alignment. Write 222 if you are praying for discernment. Write 333 if you know God is actively preparing you. This declaration is not engagement, it is agreement. And when the appointed moment arrives, you will look back and realize, this was where the next season truly began. Chosen one, as I close this message, I want to be clear and honest with you. This wasn't just teaching, it was confirmation. In a time where many feel isolated and misunderstood, God is reminding His chosen ones that isolation is not the destination, alignment is. Meeting another chosen one is not about comfort, it's about purpose, timing, and divine strategy. From what I've seen and lived, this season is moving quickly. God is accelerating clarity and connection, and that tells me the assignments ahead matter deeply. So stay grounded, stay prayerful, and don't rush what God is carefully arranging. If this word resonated with your spirit, stay connected. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Share this message with someone who may be walking the same path in silence. Thank you for listening, for staying present, and for honoring this moment. Stay discerning, stay ready, and trust that when alignment comes, you'll know it was worth the wait.